So go, that's what that means. All right. Uhuru. Uhuru, everyone. How about that tour? Wow. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed or is still enjoying that delicious lunch from the Vine. That was good. And I want to, if anyone's just joining us, my name is Jamie Simpson. You are here at day 2, second half of the National Convention of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. This convention is titled White People Say No to the FBI's War on Black Liberation. And the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the movement of white people's reparations to African people, created by and working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. So this is the organization to be in if you want to stand in solidarity with the African liberation movement. And we're going to get right back into the rest of our program. Let's see, I think today, the first thing we're going to do is invite up yesterday's stellar MC, Sarah, to do a quick presentation on the importance of supporting Black Star Industries. Is that not, that's not correct? It's not correct. Okay. It's correct. Okay. It's correct. How about that?
But it's not.
It's funny how it works that way.
Additional help is all.
Yes.
Uhuru. Do y'all miss me? Yeah, okay, okay.
All right, I'm also rejoining us. Okay, so Uhuru, everyone. So what Sarah and Jamie, you can stay up here. Stay up here. Let's all do this together. What we're here to do is take us to our goal that we set for ourselves as the USM 2023 convention to raise $20,000 for the work of Black Star Industries, for the work of the African People's Socialist Party in building the independent anti-colonial African working class economy, making Black power real, building Black power brick by brick. And yesterday, let me pull out the numbers here. When we ended the day, we were at 18,660. And we got word this morning from Comrade Ann in Ecuador that she is throwing down the gauntlet and putting a $700 matching fund down on the line. Uhuru. So that means we need 7 people to give $100 each to meet our goal to surpass $20,000. And I just want to read the statement that Anne sent to me. She's been watching the whole time. She was watching the whole tour. And I just want to salute the amazing tour that we just got to experience of the Black Power Blueprint programs and the different projects and sites of the Uhuru movement, including those that were targeted by the FBI last July. And this is what Anne said. Please let people know how inspired I am by this amazing transformation in the African community. This project is so full of life. I encourage others to dig deeper than we think we can. What better way to invest in the future of our planet with justice? What legacy do we want our lives to leave? When we are in our last days, to look back and know we participated in reparations so that the Black community could be self-determining as we are able as white people to be in our lives. So amazing, as Chairman Omali Shatella said, for young African children to have access to a basketball court, see beautiful murals in their neighborhood, come out of the colonial prisons to be welcomed into a nurturing environment, and for African women to take healthcare into their own hands. I salute the party, Deputy Chair, Ona Zanea Shatella, and her amazing leadership, and of course, the chairman. I want to, after over 23 years of knowing the Uhuru movement, say that we can trust them to do what is right and good for African people and the whole world. I've never seen another organization do what they do, not ever. Uhuru. So it's a great statement.
Yeah.
And with that statement, so far, Matt Ritterspa. Is that someone you know? Tell us a little bit about Matt.
Matt.
Yes.
My twin brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so
Matt Ritterspa heard the call and put in $100.
there we go. Here's the call.
And we have Comrade Pete out in California, longtime member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Pete Yarashuk, $100 from Pete. And we have $10 from Ember, who is a new member also out in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. So Uhuru to Ember.
Excellent, excellent.
And Bree right here in the room with us somewhere. There we go. There we go. Bree put in $25. So that means we've got $405 left to meet our goal.
Whoa,
That's it.
that's not anything.
To match. 405 left to match. Such a good question. You go to uhurusolidarity.org and you click that big red button that says pay reparations. Pay reparations. You can also go straight to uhurusolidarity.org/pay-reparations and make your contribution.
Mhm.
We just have some more news here that Union del Barrio just gave $100.
All right. Great. Absolutely.
Just want to give a revolutionary salute to Union del Barrio and Undersecretary Benjamin Prado, who will be honored to be hearing from in just a few minutes.
Yes.
This is just incredible Mexican revolutionary organization that has had a deep relationship with the African People's Socialist Party going back over 35 years, I think, at this point. So yes, that's very, very powerful, and salute to Union del Barrio. Uhuru.
And you know what? If there was any doubt yesterday about where this reparations money is going, we answered that question this morning, didn't we? Exactly. It's not going into the pockets of anybody, you know, of the party or USM. You know, the chairman and deputy chair said many times, we're like, that's not going to us. This isn't our money, right? It's going right back into the community. This is reparations for true African liberation by Africans for Africans. It's our duty. And as white people, you know, to pay these reparations. Chairman, something you said on the tour this morning that really stuck with me was, this is an opportunity for us to join the rest of the damn world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing up here on this pedestal? This doesn't have to be our legacy, just like Ann said, right? You know, this is our opportunity to overturn that contradiction, something else that you said this morning, Chairman. So.
Uhuru. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. So let's wrap this up. Is there anybody in the room or online that would like to go ahead and contribute $305 that will bring us over the top to exceed our goal today? $305. And you can go to uhurusolidarity.org and click pay reparations. Is there anybody else that would like to give $100?
There it
All right,
is.
that's my brother.
Shout out to the
All right,
brothers. Yay, for
Awesome.
brothers.
All right. Uhuru, salute to Sean.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to be like Sean and put in, okay, Paul Caritis, put in $50. Uhuru to Paul Caritis. $255 left. Anybody else want to do $100? Straight to the programs of Black Star Industries, concrete, on the ground, revolutionary work to build the new world under the leadership of the African working class. This is reparations in action.
Right.
When you go to uhurusolidarity.org, click pay reparations. Is there anybody else that wants to put in $100? Is there anybody else that wants? Oh,
Carol.
I should not move on so quickly. Okay, there we go. Right on. Could you tell us your name? Carol. All right.
Oh.
Carol's family.
Yeah,
Let's-
Carol, who brought you here today?
Let's go, Brendan.
All right. So shout out to Brendan and Brendan's amazing family. We're so happy you're with us today. And thank you, Carol, for your $100 contribution. So that means we have $155 left to raise. So let's keep it going. Is there anybody else that would like to do $100 or $155? Just letting that linger for a second. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay. All right, comrade, go. Don't be afraid of silence.
Right, yeah.
That's right,
Use it,
that's
use the
right.
discomfort.
All right, thank you, Comrade Johan. Really salute you. I know you've given a lot this weekend in so many ways. So thank you so much to our amazing comrade Johan Bedingfield.
Absolutely.
So that means that together, comrades, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Convention of 2023 raised $20,000 towards reparations to African people. Unity through reparations. Uhuru. All right, we'll turn it back over to
Wow.
our MC.
All right, let's get another round of applause for that round of reparations, comrades. That was so inspiring, and coming after such an inspiring afternoon. That was my first time seeing the Black Power blueprint in person. And I tell you, it's so, I don't even have words for how transformative it is to see something that's actually repairing the damage. You know, this is reparations, and like seeing that African independence workforce, the housing, it's so beautiful. It's such artistic, the mural at the basketball court. I mean, the African working class deserves the best, right? That's what you've always said, Deputy Chair. And it's so beautiful to see that. And the stark contrast between that and what this colonial state expects African people to have to endure. So we've got to just keep moving forward, keep doing everything that the FBI wants to shut down, that the FBI cannot tolerate, because it exposes this criminal state, this colonial state, for what it is. So yeah, I just really want to salute that. And can I get one round of hands off Uhuru? Right on, comrades. All right, so now let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and call back up Chair Jesse Neville to go over some solidarity statements.
Thank you, Jamie. So thank you, Comrade Jamie. And first, what I want to say is that this conference this year this is an annual convention, but this year it was held in the special context of the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa campaign. And under the leadership of Chairman Amalia Shatella and through the leadership of Hands Off Uhuru campaign Chair Amwezi Odom, this campaign has just built an amazing movement of anti-colonial unity with the African People's Socialist Party and in defense of the right of African people to organize and advocate for their liberation. So, because of that, putting out the USM Convention this year, there was a tremendous response from organizations who wanted to endorse the call to white people to say no to FBI war on Black liberation. And we will be hearing from three of those organizations, Unión del Barrio, Existence is Resistance, and the Center for Political Innovation. And we also want to thank the other organizations who endorsed, which includes the United National Anti-War Coalition, UNAC, Our Revolution, Twin Cities, the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, the Green Party of St. Louis, who we heard from yesterday, very powerful statement, and they will be participating in an event later this afternoon as well, Detention Resistance Collective, and the Florida Indigenous Alliance. So let's give a round of applause for all of those organizations who endorsed this important conference today. And without any further ado, we'd like to introduce, again, an incredible honor to introduce the Undersecretary of Unión del Barrio, an organization that's been fighting for the liberation and self-determination of the Mexican and indigenous people for decades in a profound relationship of unity with the African People's Socialist Party. Salute and welcome to Undersecretary Benjamin Prado. Uhuru.
Uhuru comrades, really on behalf of Unión del Barrio, please receive a revolutionary salute to the African People's Socialist Party, the Uhuru movement, Chairman Amalia Shatella, and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. We want to appreciate the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and everyone who made this convening possible. We want to recognize how significant this gathering is, as the crisis of colonialism is on full display for the whole world to see. Unión del Barrio is proud to stand in uncompromising unity and in unconditional solidarity with the African liberation struggle. And it's always inspiring to see, how the white community continue to stand on the correct side of the colonial question. and fighting under the leadership of the African people alongside other colonized people to overturn this colonial relationship. And we also want to take this opportunity to really appreciate the fierce presentation by Comrade Akile Yanai in yesterday's panel. It summed up beautifully the uncompromising nature of the African liberation struggle for complete independence from parasitic colonial capitalism and the determination of African people to be free. It was inspiring to listen to Comrade Akile, and we salute her for that incredible, motivating presentation. The African liberation struggle condemns the recent sanctions imposed by the parasitic Regions Bank, working hand in hand with the FBI to attack the Uhuru movement. Regions Bank unilateral termination and closure of the Uhuru movement accounts, as well as the Pinellas County Board Commission's withdrawal of the Black Power 96 radio station grant, constitutes the same coercive tactics that are used as a strategy of economic warfare internationally. Just like they use these coercive tactics against revolutionary Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and even Russia and China for that matter. We recognize that this tactic forms part of the colonial state's attempt to crush the economic independence of the African liberation movement. And just like whenever a country begins to create some sense of independence and self-reliance and unhitching the future of their countries from the parasitic nature of the US imperialism, we begin to see attacks, right? Mexico, for instance, who just recently nationalized lithium, is now under attack by the colonial imperialist state with statements such as, the undermining of democracy and all kinds of slanderous statements saying that they are not democratic in nature and character. And we know for a fact, and despite our contradiction with the current Mexican state, we know that reclaiming natural resources is a fundamental component for any peoples, for any country, for any struggle to become a self-determining country and nation, so that it does not depend on the underdevelopment of US parasitic capitalism. And just like we saw earlier today with the burnt down houses in St. Louis as a type of psychological warfare also to attack the very confidence in ourselves to be able to build these necessary institutions to feed, clothe, and house ourselves, we know that the determination of the African liberation movement is an important reference for our struggles to, again, reclaim our resources, reclaim our land, and reclaim our destiny. As an organization that is committed to complete independence from the capitalist colonial state and US imperialism, we are convinced that we must struggle to build self-determination. And as Comrade Chairman summed up, self-determination is the highest expression of democracy. Self-determination is a right to have people, to have power in the hands of African, Mexican, indigenous working class people. We say power in the hands of the working class to build our own capacity to feed, clothe, and house our own people. We unite and say hands off Uhuru movement, hands off Africa, no retreat, no surrender, and long live the African Revolution. Uhuru.
Uhuru, long live the African Revolution. Uhuru, hands off Uhuru. Victory to the Mexican people. Uhuru. All right, well, salute to Unión del Barrio, salute to Comrade Benjamin Prado. Thank you for that powerful statement. And again, it was an honor to have you as part of this program today. And before going to the next statement, I just want to remind people who have joined us recently or tuned in online, there was reference to Director Aquile's statement from yesterday. And Director Akile, as well as Chairman Amalia Shatella and others, including the 3 of the lawyers from the Hands Off Uhuru legal team, will be speaking at a special event that will be happening right as this convention concludes. It will be concluding with a special 3 o'clock central event called Meet the Uhuru Legal Team. And we're going to be putting in the chat where you can register to be a part of that. So just want to let people know that stick around because that's going to be an amazing event. And now we would like to reintroduce Nancy Mansour, who is the co-founder of Existence is Resistance. an organization that advocates for the right of the Palestinian people to resist and fight for their national liberation and self-determination. And we are very appreciative and honored to have joining us again, Nancy Mansour. Uhuru.
Uhuru, thank you so much again for having me. The statement from our organization, Existence is Resistance. Existence is Resistance condemns the FBI raids against the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, reminiscent of the days of COINTELPRO that targeted the Black Liberation Movement in the 60s and 70s. Palestinian and Arab American organizations have for decades been falsely accused by the FBI of working for groups in other countries that US or Israeli governments deem terrorists. This has been a tactic of the FBI since the civil rights era. When they see a movement making progress in organizing our people and challenging the status quo, they try and tarnish your name, or worse, infiltrate your organization to bring it down from within. This is what they did to the Black Panther Party, which culminated into the FBI and police assassination of Fred Hampton in Chicago. Today, anyone that speaks out against the US government's imperialist interventions around the world gets labeled a Russian agent. We thought those days were over with the collapse of the Soviet Union, but as they say, history repeats itself, especially when you haven't learned from the mistakes of the past. Israel, with the backing of the United States, has been on a killing rampage against Palestinian villagers, setting fires to their homes and olive trees. For 75 years, the Palestinian people have been bravely fighting back the Israeli occupation as the world watches and does nothing. The United States bombed and invaded the nation of Iraq 20 years ago in what they called shock and awe that terrorized the civilians of Baghdad. Up to 1 million Iraqis died due to that war, and millions more became refugees. And again, the world stood by and did nothing. The only people in the United States who spoke out against these wars and occupations were mainly the Black Liberation Movement, the anti-war movement, and different socialist organizations. There's been a long and consistent solidarity between the Black Liberation Movement and the Palestinian Liberation Movement. The African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement has inspired us tremendously with the amazing work that they have done in St. Louis and Florida, in the African communities that have been neglected by the government. This is why the FBI is clamping down on the organization and Chairman O'Malley, because they have shown an alternative way of getting things accomplished for their own communities that relies on self-sufficiency and independence without having to compromise your principles. We demand an immediate end to the FBI persecution of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and Black Liberation Movement as a whole. No more spying and no more lying. We have been through this before with COINTELPRO, and we will not fall for it again. We will play whatever role we can as Palestinians and Arabs to stand up against this injustice and continue to build bridges with our African brothers and sisters. We're doing something right. That's what we know, and we'll stand loud and proud until all people are free. Hands off Uhuru, hands off Palestine, and hands off Africa. Each group will liberate themselves, but we will help each other along the way. Existence is resistance. Thank you.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Long live Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Uhuru! Uhuru, let's give another round of applause to Nancy Mansour. I want to express appreciation to Nancy Mansour and Existence is Resistance, and just once again reaffirm the Uhuru Solidarity Movement unites 100% with our leadership, the African People's Socialist Party, in its unconditional unity and solidarity with the Palestinian people and their right to total liberation of their land from the illegitimate white nationalist colonial settler state of Israel. And we say, free Palestine, down with colonialism, Uhuru. Uhuru. So thank you once again to Nancy Mansour. And now we'd like to ask John McCarthy from the Center for Political Innovation to give their solidarity statement.
I want to express my extreme gratitude to Chairman O'Malley Yeshitela for allowing me to read the statement, because before I read it, there's something I have to clarify and apologize for. We're the ones who held that reception in Washington, D.C. Associated with the larger March Against the War. And one of your party members spoke there. And unfortunately, as she exited, some white supremacist rent-a-clowns were there at the exit, and they took a picture of themselves with her in it, and they made a white supremacist sign. Those people were not members. The FBI provocateurs. They were sent to discredit the march as a whole, but then specifically to discredit us, because the march as a whole had kind of this like pacifist, all war is bad, Russia should withdraw, we should stop sending arms. But what the Center for Political Innovation, what our message is this is an imperialist war against Russia. Yeah. And that Russia is defending itself against imperialism. And furthermore, by defending itself, they're defending a large percentage of the population of this earth. Now that's a majority opinion on earth right now, but here in the United States, you're not allowed to say it, right? So we denounce those individuals, we denounce their ideology, we denounce the government who sent them. And I apologize that something like that happened at our event. We've taken steps to tighten up our procedures so it doesn't happen again. Okay, now here's the statement that Caleb wrote. The Center for Political Innovation wishes to offer its full, unequivocal support to the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, and Chairman O'Malley Yeshitela in the face of FBI repression, threats of prosecution, bank harassment, financial suppression, intimidation, and other violations of civil liberties. The heroic anti-imperialist stance of the Uhuru movement, linking the struggle of the Black people of America with Russia and its resistance to imperialism and neoliberalism, is courageous. As the imperialists attempt to whitewash their image and prevent themselves as woke saviors of the planet and purveyors of human rights, the vicious campaign aimed at the Uhuru movement expresses their utter hypocrisy. The African People's Socialist Party has been advocating reparations and carrying out a program of Black liberation and anti-colonialism for decades. To characterize them as Russian agents or foreign conspirators is absurd and a step toward criminalizing all anti-war activities and dissent. It is urgent that all forces who oppose war, oppose FBI repression, stand for civil liberties, and for the right to organize, raise their voices in support of the Uhuru movement. The Center for Political Innovation will not refrain from highlighting this case at every opportunity and pointing to the dangerous implications of how this group of Black revolutionaries is being targeted. We call on other forces to do the same.
Uhuru. Thank you to John, to the Center for Political Innovation, to Caleb Maupin, the author of the statement, and also thank you for making that initial statement and clarification. And yes, the FBI, U.S. government comes in many forms, so that was an important and helpful clarification. So thank you again to Comrade John. And now I'd like to just briefly read the statements that were sent in by other organizations that endorsed this conference, including the United National Anti-War Coalition. This was a brief statement sent in by Joe Lombardo, which states that the United National Anti-War Coalition endorses the conference and supports the efforts of the African People's Socialist Party and the Black is Back Coalition to speak truth to power regarding the US-NATO war against Russia in Ukraine. Our Revolution, Twin Cities, responds, as Our Revolution, Twin Cities, we proudly endorse the 2023 convention of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. USM is the organization of white people formed under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, working in solidarity with the African community-led struggle for African liberation and self-determination. Our society must recognize that reparations are owed to African people for centuries of colonialism, slavery, genocide, and terrorism. We invite all people who stand against injustice, oppression, and war to join organizations like the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and build a movement for reparations and solidarity with African liberation. And that was the statement sent in by Our Revolution, Twin Cities. And we also have from the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, they submitted this statement saying, the mission of the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund is to end cash bail and pretrial detention in our city. Until that day, we post bail for our neighbors who cannot afford to pay. TCBF stands in solidarity with the Uhuru Solidarity Movement as a collective of white people who are bold enough to say no to FBI war on Black liberation and advocate for reparations to African people. May you continue the fight for a better world. Uhuru. And we also want to thank again the other organizations who endorsed the Green Party of St. Louis, who we heard from yesterday, who we'll be hearing from again this afternoon, Detention Resistance Collective, and the Florida Indigenous Alliance. Uhuru.
All right, Uhuru, let's hear a round of applause for Chair Jesse Neville on those amazing solidarity statements. All right, and now to go over our goals, calendar, and strategy for the next year, I want to bring up the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Jesse Neville, and the vice chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Amanda Carlozzi.
Uhuru. Okay, this is going to be the fastest presentation that you've seen because what clock is no the clock is ticking. We have the 3 o'clock event, meet the Uhuru legal team right around the corner, and we also have a few other proceedings ahead of us. So we're gonna speed through this, but we just want to give people a little glimpse of what lies ahead for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Coming out of this convention, we want to hit the ground running in every single city where we exist or where we will start to exist once you start to make that work happen. So, Uhuru, and welcome to the vice chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Comrade Amanda.
Uhuru. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, and as we go through each of these goals, what I want you to do in the room and at home is picture yourself being a part of it. How can you contribute your skills and your time to these things that we're doing under the leadership of the African Socialist Party for reparations? You can go to the next slide.
So, this is your slide.
Oh, no.
Okay. The first question I want to ask this room is, raise your hand if you are a listener of the White Lives Shattered podcast. We got to get more of those hands up. Okay. Well, you can go to Apple Podcasts. You can go to Spotify. You can go to Podbean, whatever, anywhere where you find podcasts, you can look up White Lives Shattered. We've got the host of White Lives Shattered right here in the room, Jamie Simpson. And we've got Chairwoman Penny Hess, who is also a regular on White Lives Shattered, a regular contributor and co-host. And it's an amazing podcast that we have to break down the lies of colonial history using Chairman Omali Yeshitela's understandings of African internationalism and expose the truth. And it's an incredible podcast that also has the honor to be broadcast on Black Power 96 radio in St. Pete. So we need people to help work on this podcast and all of the other ways that we are involved in winning the war of ideas. Everything else that we do as an organization hinges upon our success in winning the war of ideas winning white people to the understandings of African internationalism, reparations to African people, colonialism as the mode of production, and our role and responsibility in that. We need all of your creativity and skills and passion to make this happen. And there are 1,000 ways that you can do that. This podcast is just one of them. So the war of ideas is key.
Uhuru. And you can go to the next slide. So our main task in the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is to raise reparations. And, we are raising these resources right now for the Black Power Blueprint. Many of you in here got to just see the Black Power Blueprint in person. So it's a really critical on the ground campaign that the party is building. And all of our work is about supporting that and winning white people to the stance of reparations, that we don't get to decide what to do with the resources of African people, that it needs to just be returned to African people so that they can lead their own struggle for national liberation. Go to the next slide. And one of the ways that we are doing this is through the Reparations Legacy Project. I believe Jesse mentioned yesterday that one white person could contribute all of the money needed for the legal defense, the health center, they could have paid for the basketball court, and they wouldn't have necessarily noticed that the money was missing from their account. And I mean, so far, a lot of people have contributed very generous amounts to these campaigns, but we want to really expand this massively. And just to say as well, there are also people that have contributed a lot and do notice that the funds are missing from their accounts, but they are making the ultimate investment in their future and in the future of their children by contributing those resources to the African Revolution. So, we see you as well, and we really appreciate you for that. We want to grow it massively.
Uhuru. And there are people in this room right now, including 2 new comrades back there who joined us during the lunch break. I want to welcome Caleb and Megan who came in to join us today. Let's give them a round of applause. And the reason why I'm singling them out is because they found out about this convention because they were at Soulard Market, and Len, who's right behind them, and Brendan and other people were out there passing out flyers, doing the work of recruitment on the ground. And this is what Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party really struggles for us to understand. This revolution is going to be made on the ground. It's not going to be made in cyberspace. We have to win the people. We have to be out in our own white communities, winning other white people to this stance of solidarity with the African Revolution. And our recruitment campaigns are extremely important towards this end and revolve heavily around outreach, around on-the-ground outreach, tabling, flyering, postering. So we're going to be initiating huge recruitment campaigns in the upcoming months. And our membership coordinator, who you will find out who that is in just a little bit when we have our USM National Steering Committee election, will be launching these recruitment drives in this coming period.
True.
And this is just another, oh yeah, and part of that is also selling the Burning Spear newspaper. And I just want to acknowledge again, Director Akile Anai from the Agitprop, Director of Agitprop for the African People's Socialist Party, who's also the editor of the incredible Burning Spear newspaper, the official publication of the African People's Socialist Party that's been in publication since the late 60s. And it is extremely important that we massively distribute this newspaper in the white community and get this in the hands of the people, hold Burning Spear studies. This needs to be a fixture in every white community. They need to be reading the longest running Black Power newspaper in existence, needs to be put in the hands of white people. So selling the Burning Spear newspaper is key to our work.
True. And if I can just comment on that, I think I can credit the Burning Spear as the thing that recruited me. I read the party's 14-point platform, and it was like a veil was lifted from my eyes. So if you are in here and you have not read the 14-point platform, sit down and read it in full, and then read the rest of the Spear as well, because it's life-changing. You can go to the next one. Peru. And this is just another example of on-the-ground outreach. We also have people that are here because they saw a poster in a business. Shout out to Casey for leading that postering campaign as well for this convention. And we also do drops. We've had people say to us, oh yeah, I get your stuff from USM, but it's because we go to their neighborhood every so often and give them another leaflet. So it's just really about expanding the knowledge of the reparations work and the African People's Socialist Party into the white community. And build branches of USM is another goal because organization is key. Right now we have members in 141 cities, but we need to have branches in 141 cities because having a unit that is working together in an organized way to do all of this outreach can do significantly more work than, 4 or 5 or 50 people that aren't organized. So we really want to call on everybody, go back to your city and build a branch. Find a friend, have them be the different roles and positions, and then, just keep building from there.
Uhuru. And one of the things that we've learned from Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party is that organization is the only weapon that colonized people have to wage and win their struggle for liberation. And going up against the most heavily armed, brutal, nuclear-backed killing machine of US imperialism that has ever existed in the history of humanity, the only way colonized and oppressed peoples have ever been able to fight and win against this monster is through organization, tight, disciplined organization. And in this case, it has to be revolutionary organization under the leadership of the African working class. And that's the call for white people. Abandon individualism, abandon just doing your own thing. And I want to have my own time and my own this and that, and be accountable. Be accountable to humanity. Be accountable to the leadership of the African Revolution. That's what it means to build a branch of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in your city. That's what it means to build organization. And the main campaign that USM continues to take out into the world is the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa campaign. We want these posters to be unavoidable in the white community. We want them to be everywhere, on every street corner, in every business. We want to drop massive banners from freeways and things like that so that people see it on their way to and from work. We want to make the Hands Off Uhuru campaign a household word in the white community, and do this strategy that the chairman has called for to break the isolation that the government wants to impose on the African liberation movement. So winning a movement of white people who stand with the African People's Socialist Party, who say hands off Chairman Omali Yeshitela, is and continues to be a major goal. And tied to that is continuing to raise the money for the legal defense, for any other expenses associated with waging this campaign.
Uhuru. And we also are going to be building the party's economic institutions. The two that are shown here are Uhuru Foods and Pies, which exists right now in Oakland and St. Pete's, soon to be in St. Louis, as well as Uhuru Furniture and Collectibles, which is also in Oakland and then Philadelphia. So if you are in one of those cities, you can volunteer in those programs. They do Saturday morning markets. They have a holiday pie campaign that you can travel and participate in that. And it's incredible.
And the other thing that we want to start doing as soon as this convention is over is hitting the road, going on organizing tours, setting up even small, low budget kinds of events in a cafe, in a bookstore, in a library, in your living room. If you do the work of getting the people there, we'll do the rest of it. We will come, we'll set up a program, we'll show video presentations of the chairman speaking and show deputy chair, show Chairwoman Pennyhouse, show these presentations and videos and talk to white people about what the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is all about. So we want to do this all throughout the West Coast in particular. We're planning an organizing tour this year, but we want to do it everywhere. We want to do it throughout the Midwest, throughout every region in this country and beyond.
Uhuru. And, for these tours, don't overthink it. We just had an incredible event with Spine Bookstore. Mark, he invited an author showcase where Penny Hess spoke. So you can go to a local cafe and offer that as an idea. They might just offer you the space. You could, do it on your college campus. They have programs there for people to bring speakers and they often pay for it for you. So definitely think outside the box. It's definitely doable in a lot of different ways.
And at this point, we'd like to ask our MC. Now it's my turn to keep bringing you back up. Here we go. So we want to ask Jamie Simpson, because Jamie, in addition to being our amazing MC for today, is also the lead local organizer for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in St. Petersburg, Florida, and our Southern Regional representative for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And Jamie and Johan and other comrades are working on building an amazing benefit show as a fundraiser for Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa. So this is something you can do as a member of USM. And Jamie, I'd like you to just quickly tell us what this is all about.
All right. Uhuru. So yeah, this was an idea I had when I saw a fundraiser concert in St. Petersburg for an abortion fund. And I thought, this is something that we have to see for the Hands Off Uhuru campaign. So we've been talking about it for a while, and we actually have some artists that we've won. One of them is a friend of director Achilles. So I really want to thank you for your support through this process. Sade Sunday, really talented artist. We've got some other musicians. Let's see, Rain Christie is a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and a musician. She's been helping us build. She's going to play. We've got Grant Peoples. We've got, he's actually a country musician, like a bluegrass musician who's progressive. We've got Shayna Smith, a folk musician. We've got Rudderkin, a punk band. Forgetting someone else. We've got Life Malcolm has agreed to be at this this concert and do some of his spoken word poetry. We've got Pedro El Poeta, right? And I know there's probably someone else that we're forgetting. We got Chris. Oh, here we go. We got Chris. How about that? It's right there. We've got Euclid Buffalo, which is Chris Miller, a supporter who we met in the process of building this. And I want to give a shout out to, what's the name of, it's Nana's Restaurant and Juice Bar in Ybor City. The owner, Alisa, has been fantastic and united with this. It's a beautiful outdoor space. So we're going to have this on Saturday, May 6th from 7 to 11 p.m. If you're in St. Petersburg, if there's any way you can get to St. Petersburg, please come out and see this concert. It's going to be fantastic. And we have Akile Anayi, director of the Department of Agitation and Propaganda, is going to be there. And we hope maybe you'll share some of your spoken word poetry at the event. Think about it. We'll talk about that. I'm putting you on the spot. Okay. Anyway, so Uhuru.
Uhuru, that's going to be amazing. So thank you. Yes, Amanda, go ahead.
Uhuru. So one of the main tours that we do as the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the Days of Reparations to African People. This is where we have the opportunity to bring Chairman Omali Shatella to cities across the country, across the world, to speak, like I said, on college campuses, in different venues, to really put out why white people need to be under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party and pay reparations. So this is an excellent tour, and we want to have, as many cities as possible on this tour in October of this year.
Uhuru. And just want to say that, just to kind of close this out here. So we understand that colonialism, the colonial mode of production, never ceases for 1 second of any minute, of any hour, of any day to steal the resources of African people, to attempt to drain African people of everything that belongs to them. And likewise, there is not a second of any day that African and colonized people are not fighting and resisting and struggling to reclaim power and self-determination over their lives. And as a kind of tribute to that relentlessness, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement holds a 24-hour telethon. And many of us actually stay awake for the entire telethon, which is really fun. You can join the 24-hour club. The past 2 years, we hosted it live from the Uhuru Solidarity Center, and we will be doing that again this year. And this is for what's called Giving Tuesday. We have the Reparations Telethon, which is an amazing program. I mean, I can't even explain to you how incredible this is. It's a thrilling, joyous, powerful, moving 24-hour experience of seeing the whole international African revolutionary movement of the Uhuru movement from so many different facets. And it is a fundraiser for the Black Power Blueprint. Last year, it was a fundraiser for the Uhuru Wakulia African Women's Health Center and raised $50,000. And we've got to at least raise that this year. So this is something you can be a part of. People can be audio visual engineers. You can be a host. You can be on the program. You can help do the appeals, help promote it, help get the word out, help book, musicians, artists, and other kinds of things. It's an amazing experience. And one thing that we have learned is that this movement is so vast and so incredible that you can literally stay awake talking about the Uhuru movement for 24 hours and still only scratch the surface of what this movement is all about. But it's not something to miss. It's an amazing experience. And yeah, it's a great process. And just want to shout out Comrade Len, who's been the coordinator of the telethon for the last couple of years. So Uhuru to Len. So who is ready to get involved in building the Uhuru Solidarity Movement? Right, Uhuru. So that concludes the presentation, and I just wanted to say that we're running out of time for the last hour of everything that we have to get done in our convention, but I did want to take a quick opportunity to acknowledge and salute the amazing committee that built this convention. And I can't name everybody because we don't have time, but I do specifically want to name and salute Comrade Leah Fifield, who is somewhere in the room. I just want to shout out Leah, who actually stepped up to coordinate this convention this year and built an amazing committee that met consistently every single week. It was very well organized. It was very professional. It was very mobilizing, and everybody did an amazing job. So just I'm going to try to do this here. I want to shout out Comrade Brendan, coordinated the program. Uhuru. Hallie, the coordinator of logistics. Uhuru. Here we go. Help me out here.
Wait, Johan?
Johan, who coordinated endorsements, which you saw how impressive that was. And Len, who coordinated outreach. Uhuru to Len. Leah also coordinated registration. Virginia, who coordinated social media. Paul Kessler, who coordinated phone banking. Through to Paul. And Jamie Simpson, who was involved in all of it in some way, shape, or form. The phone banking, the on-the-ground outreach, building this benefit show, and so much more.
Angelica was on the logistics
Yes,
team.
Angelica was on the logistics team. Uhuru to Angelica. Yes.
Social
Yes,
media.
yes, absolutely. Comrade Johan. Oh, Diane. I want to shout out Diane, who coordinated the media. Uhuru to Diane.
I want to thank Lisa.
Oh, and we want to thank Lisa Watson here, who wasn't on the committee, but notice I didn't thank an AV coordinator because we didn't have one, which is a self-criticism and a contradiction. But Lisa is a high level of cadre that can jump in and make it happen despite the contradictions we had in that area. So, and the AV was pretty smooth this weekend, I think. So shout out to Comrade Lisa. Also want to shout out and salute Casey Mackey, who did a ton of postering and outreach for this. And I've had a lot of people tell me like, wow, I've seen a lot of posters all around town for this conference. So shout out to Comrade Casey. And I also want to salute the National Secretary and NTU Volunteer Coordinator of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Sarah Ritterspa here. Uhuru, Sarah. So we probably left somebody out, but I apologize if we did. And oh, I want to salute our Vice Chair, our Coordinator of Security. So much more, Comrade Amanda, Budget Coordinator, Appeal Coordinator, this coordinator, that coordinator, everything. So salute. Revolutionary salute to you, Comrade Amanda.
Uhuru. In that case, I want to really salute our chair, Jesse, who, I mean, really really excellent political leadership over the whole campaign. It's, Leah was able to step into that role, I think, because of the amazing leadership that you give to all of us in the Solidarity Movement. So. Uhuru.
Thank you. All right.
There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you, comrades, and salute above all to the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, Chairman Amalia Shatella, Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella, the entire African People's Socialist Party. And it sounds like I'm ending the convention, but it's not over. There's more to come. So stick around. We have a few more things before we close out the program today. And then don't go anywhere because 3 o'clock, the Impedum Sunday Rally, Meet the Uhuru Legal Team, will be commencing. So, Uhuru.
All right, thank you for that presentation, Chair Jesse and Vice Chair Amanda. So now we will have, nope, skipping that. All right. So now I would like to invite up the chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Penny Hess, for our annual Uhuru Solidarity Movement election, followed by the election of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Steering Committee. Uhuru.
Uhuru, and thank you, Jamie. Uhuru, well, this is a really important part of this whole convention that we have every year. And first of all, I want to salute Chairman Omalia Shatella for creating the Solidarity Movement under the leadership of the party with the mandate to be the second front of the African Revolution, to be the voice of Black power and white face in the white community, and to organize for reparations to African people. And the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is not an elected office. It is an office that is created or appointed, I should say, appointed by the African People's Socialist Party and the African People's Solidarity Committee, because it is such an important role. And it's really critical that the person who is the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement have profound unity with African internationalism and with the African People's Socialist Party, and an understanding of what it is that we have to do in this world, in the white community, and what is exactly the work that has to be. So I do, just want to lay out that it is my profound honor to appoint Jesse Neville to continue the incredible work that he has done as the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and that I can only express my deepest appreciation and just the incredible respect politically and in every way for you, Jesse, and for your leadership and the work that you bring and have created in the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, that you do understand and unite with in the deepest way reparations to African people, and really fighting for it. You have confidence, you have enthusiasm, you have courage, and you have shown that over the years. You have integrity, you have the spirit of criticism and self-criticism. You are an African internationalist who fights for that, who wins it, and you also build leadership. And that part of the tribute to your leadership are all of the amazing comrades under your leadership, and that is profound and really, really important. And yeah, so you recruit, you fight to be out there, you're creative, and you are mobilizing to all the comrades, and you do the work, and you work hard. You work hard day in and day out in to build this organization, to get members, to build the branches, and to can keep expanding the actual organization under the leadership of the African Revolution. So again, it is my honor. Chair Jesse. Stand up and applaud Jesse Neville.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, thank you, Chairwoman Penny Hess. I just want to say that I met Chairwoman Penny in late 2009, and I have struggled, I've attempted to model my life ever since on the incredible example that Chairwoman Penny Hess has set as the chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee, embodying principled white solidarity with the African Revolution for so many years. So it's an incredible honor to continue to have this role, this opportunity to be the chair of APSC's mass organization. And I want to salute and appreciate the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, salute Chairman Amalia Shatella, salute Deputy Chair, salute the entire party for giving me this incredible honor and ability to be a part of the future of humanity. And all I can say is that the quote from Che, solidarity means sharing the same fate in victory or in death, that we're going all the way. Yeah. And I am confident it will be victory for the African Revolution and death for colonialism. So with that, my first task as the chair of USM post appointment is to preside over the election of our National Steering Committee. And I'm going to do that very quickly because we have 18 minutes before the next event starts. So, so we can bring that slide up. Oh. Okay. All right, we're working on getting that, but in the meantime, I'll just do it verbally. So this isn't it. First of all, raise your hand if you are a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Okay, someone is going to give you a red voting card right now. Only keep your hands raised, please. Were we able to get the slideshow? Oh, wow. Okay, that was on me. So this part of the convention is important because what we're doing is electing the national leadership of USM. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement will vote to accept, I just shared it with you, the National Steering Committee nominees. We are not taking nominations from the floor today. If you are interested in joining the Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Steering Committee, you can talk to me or Amanda, and we can meet with you about joining on an interim basis. It's interim because it's interim until the next convention when you would be officially voted in by the general membership. Only in-person attendees can vote. If you are not a USM member, please refrain from voting or join now at uhurusolidarity.org/join. Okay, so as was just demonstrated, next slide, the national chair of USM is appointed by the Central Committee of APSC, the chair of APSC with approval from the party's Central Committee and Chairman Amalia Shatella. And if you go to the next slide, so these are the elected positions. Next slide. So these are the current members of the USM National Steering Committee, our incredible vice chair and treasurer, and now the coordinator of the Reparations Legacy Project, Amanda Carlozzi. Len had been in the role of the Reparations Legacy Project coordinator, but will now be taking over as our national membership chair for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Uhuru, I can't think of a better comrade to take on this role, just very dynamic out there in the world, recruiting, organizing constantly. So this is going to be very exciting. And then returning to her role as the national secretary and the NTU volunteer coordinator is Sarah, Comrade Sarah Ritterspa. Uhuru to Sarah. And, oh, wow. Okay. This was obviously not proofread. Yes, Sarah is not the treasurer. That was a typo. Sarah is the national secretary. That's what that's supposed to say. Okay. And Jamie Simpson, our Southern Regional Coordinator. Uhuru to Comrade Jamie. So now I'm very excited to introduce 3 new additions to the slate for the National Steering Committee this year. If we go to the next slide. All right, so I just want to say, as the chair of USM, over this past period, especially after the assaults on the African People's Socialist Party by the FBI and the US government, my position was that there were certain people who rose up in this period. People who have been in the work for a long time and done great work over a number of years, but in this period, really stepped forward and heard the call of Chairman Amalia Shatella to deepen this opportunity that the US government had created to advance the African revolution, and who just stepped up in every possible way. And my position was, I want those people on the National Steering Committee. I don't really care what role they're in. Just let's get them in there somehow. But we figured out some great roles for these comrades to fill that make a lot of sense with who they are and what they do. And that starts with our amazing comrade, Leah, who has been functioning in the grants team under the leadership of the Office of Deputy Chair, Comrade Maureen Wagner, Wendy Craig, Janice Kant, comprise this amazing team that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, for the work of the Uhuru movement through grants. And it's an amazing strategy developed by the Office of Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella. And Leah's role in that committee is as the USM representative. So we felt like it made sense that Leah would also be the grants rep in the USM National Steering Committee, be able to connect those areas of work more closely and just bring that leadership to the whole process. So we're excited to have Leah on board to be joining the USM National Steering Committee in a new role, which is the grants representative. So, Uhuru. And the next comrade is Johan Bedingfield, who is here with us today. Johan is being nominated for the role of Information and Education Department Chair, which has to do with waging the war of ideas, getting the word out there, developing literature, flyers, graphics, videos, and so much more. And this comrade has a sharp understanding of African internationalism and a deep love for the African People's Socialist Party. He's an incredibly bold and courageous organizer in so many ways, and he's been leading the social media work of USM for the last several months, having no necessarily any experience doing graphic design or editing videos, but just learning on the fly how to do it and doing an amazing job. And we're very excited to nominate Johan Bedingfield to coordinate info ed for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Uhuru, Johan. And working right side by side with Comrade Johan is Virginia Wilson, who couldn't be with us in person, but who's joining us online from Louisville, Kentucky, and who is nominated for social media chair, the chair of our social media committee. And she's already been doing this in so many ways. So we're very excited to bring Comrade Virginia and Johan, by the way, back to the National Steering Committee. They've been on the steering committee in the past, so welcome home. We're excited to have you back. So next slide, just to say again, nominations and open positions. We're not accepting nominations from the floor right now, but if you are interested, come talk to myself or Amanda after the event. We can meet with you about what it would take to get involved in this committee, but the roles are outreach coordinator, political action coordinator, and we need regional coordinators. The regional work is key, and we need regional coordinators for the Northern region, the Midwestern region, and the Western region. And I want to quickly go through, at 10 minutes here. I want to quickly go through those job descriptions. I'm just going to read the first part. The National Outreach Chair is responsible for developing a national outreach plan of action for USM, defining how USM will widely reach the white community, especially through monthly and where possible weekly tabling. We go to the next slide. The regional chair is responsible for the plan to build USM branches throughout your designated region. And this includes setting goals for recruitment, fundraising, building events, and building the regional committee. And if you go to the next slide, I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate Erica Ruby and appreciate the work that she did during her time as a member of the USM National Steering Committee, as for a while, our social media coordinator, our info ed coordinator, who just brought tremendous contributions to the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in so many different ways. And we want to salute our comrade out in Oakland, Erica Ruby. Uhuru. So, and that's the wrong year. It's not 2022, it's 2023, but that is the correct slate. We have myself as the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and reparations legacy project, Amanda Carlozzi, membership chair, Comrade Len, national secretary, Comrade Sarah, Southern Regional coordinator, Comrade Jamie, social media coordinator, Virginia, info ed, Johan, and we needed to have added the grants role. So also the grants representative, Leah Fifield. So that is the slate, and the way this election works is that we don't do each role one by one. We vote on the entire slate. So if you're voting, if you don't unite with one of those nominations, you would be voting against the entire slate. You vote in favor of the entire slate. That's how we are doing the election. So without any further ado, I would like to see all those who are in favor of the 2023 Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Steering Committee slate. Please raise your voting cards. Uhuru. And there we go. Got our photographer there. And all those who are opposed. So it's unanimous. Uhuru. Right. Well, this has been an amazing day. I just want to salute and congratulate our amazing National Steering Committee. We are going to get a group photo with our steering committee before the day is out. But for the sake of time, as we are going to be transitioning into the 3 o'clock event, and this formal component of the USM Convention comes to a close, I would just like to see if there are any closing remarks from Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Uhuru.
Uhuru comrades, ease relate to the Africa. I want to thank everybody for your participation in this incredible convention and the leadership of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and just close it out by saying we are winning. We are winning. Your presence here is evidence we are winning. And that's despite everything they've done to try to crush it, to shut it down. And we're making it clear that they're dealing with more than just one organization, but they're dealing with the people's movement. And that's what they attack when they attack us. So I just want to say hands off Uhuru. Victory. Adelante. Victory. Thank you so much, comrades. Uhuru. We live? Yes. Yeah. I didn't salute Comrade Jesse. He's done it again. And so as I'm glad to see what has just transpired in terms of the leadership. It's really important to have a process through which leadership can emerge and get vetted by you and the people. And the fact is that it was stated that the chairwoman is the one who selects who is going to be the chair. That is the APSC chair selects who's going to be the chair of USM. And that's appropriate. And it shouldn't be upsetting or distressing to anybody because the fact is that the Solidarity Movement is in fact an extension of the African People's Socialist Party into colonial territory. And so when we say that the chairwoman has chosen who will be the USM chair, that's a statement that's come straight from the party. And that should be understood. The party chooses who's going to be the African People's Solidarity Committee chair. This is the extension of the party itself. So I want to just appreciate you and for the purpose Is there someone here who won't be here for the meeting starting at 3 o'clock? So then I don't have to introduce you to the lawyers who will be here at that time. Want to thank Comrade Deputy Chair. And I specify that just because so much of what it is that we've seen and much of what has been targeted in terms of the attack on this party has been the translation by the Comrade Deputy Chair of the theory, analysis, and the program that I've put forward and made it, turn it into a practical living thing. And I just want to remind us that what we've seen and toured all the time that we've been here is the fact that the African People's Socialist Party, through immediate direction and leadership of the Comrade Deputy Chair, is actually transforming North St. Louis, changing the entire face of what it is, what it looks like. And that's something that's come under assault because we are not supposed to be able to do that, but we're going to do it anyway. So I just want to thank you, comrades. Uhuru.
Right.
All right, Uhuru. So this officially concludes the 2023 convention of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Let's have a round of applause. Thank you to Chairman Amalia Shatella. Thank you to the entire Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party. Thank you to, of course, Deputy Chair Onazine Yeshatella, to Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Penny Hess, Chair Jesse Neville, Vice Chair Amanda Carlozzi, and all of you who are here today who made this such a success, such a powerful, powerful convention. And I want to encourage everyone to stick around for the Sunday INPDUM, International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement rally, to hear from the Hands Off Uhuru legal team. And you can register for that event if you're online at tinyurl.com/meet-the-lawyers. Is that right? Yes, tinyurl.com/meet-the-lawyers, or just stay right where you are. And before I head off the stage, I want to encourage people to check out Uhuru Planet. If you want a Hands Off Uhuru campaign shirt, if you want a white people say no to the FBI's war on Black liberation shirt to commemorate this convention, or many of the other beautiful shirts, hoodies, hats, pins, and more that you've seen at this convention, go check out Uhuru Planet, talk to Comrade Howley. All right, comrades, I want to close out by saying, hands off Uhuru. Unity through reparations. Uhuru.